Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Train Simulator Classic, aka Railworks. And today we're going to be taking a look at a route that is available on the Steam Workshop. It's been around for a little bit now. I mean, it's not old per se, but it's not brand new either. But I'm just now getting around to really doing a video on it, as I don't really have any other locomotive DLCs that I care to go over right now. So we're going to go over some routes for the next couple videos, and go over some that I think are noteworthy, some that I don't think get the spotlight very much, that I think are pretty cool, and this is one of them. So this is a Steam Workshop route. This is the Virginia and Truckee Scenic Railroad. I believe it's Scenic Railroad. May just be the Virginia and Truckee Railroad. I forget. But I do have it pulled up right here on Steam Workshop. Virginia and Truckee Railroad. Per Steam, it is just Virginia Truckee, but there should be an "and" in there. But it is a scenic railroad located in Nevada. Route is roughly 14 miles long, running from Virginia City, Nevada to Carson City. And it actually is it's a real actual route. So this is not a fictional item. This is based on a real actual scenic railroad in Nevada. The names, everything are correct. Now, I have never been there personally. I have not gotten to see it. I have never been further west of... let's see, where have I been? I think the farthest west I've been is Las Vegas. So, I've never been further west than that as far as the United States goes. Never had much of a desire to go any further west, but, so I can't attest to just how perfectly accurate any of this route is. All I can say is from what I can see on Google Images, Google Maps, and of course the railroad's website itself. Now, unfortunately, to my knowledge, we really don't have any rolling stock available for the route that is proper to the route per se, properly prototypical. I don't know how one would put that, but oh well. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it is a continuation on the actual real true blue Virginia and Truckee Railroad. It is, I believe it is considered a part of, or the actual railroad that has continued the original 1870s railroad that we think of as the Virginia and Truckee. I do believe it is a continuation on from that. They do have the legal rights to the railroad name. So, now, of course, it is not the Virginia and Truckee as we have seen in the old Western movies. They do not operate these old wood-burning 440s and Lincoln pin couplers and whatnot. We don't, unfortunately, get to see that there. But they do actually still operate steam locomotives to this day. I believe they have two operational T-kettles. I forget, because it would make too much sense to just sit here and pull up the information on the website. I don't know. I think about it after the fact. But actually, I will put a link to the website of the railroad itself in my description, as well as well, I showed you guys the Steam Workshop file, but so anyway, we are currently sitting in Virginia City, I do believe. I believe this is where the railroad is based out of, if I'm not mistaken, is in Virginia City, so it's where your equipment is stored and whatnot. And judging by just the Google Images, it does look pretty much par for the course. I don't know how scaled the track is. I don't know how dead on perfect it is, because I will say it does look a little wacky compared to the Google images. So like this track right here seems a little too tight of a curve. This whole section doesn't seem like it's quite long enough to fit what it should. And then there's just things like this little display track, I think, right here. And then over here is like a whole dirt road and whatnot, according to the Google image that I have pulled up right now. So it's certainly not dead perfect to the railroad as it sits. It looks like it uses a fair bit of artistic inclinations, I guess. I don't know how one would put it. But it is kind of cool. There are some notable places along the route, such as this old bridge right here. It's an old wooden trestle that does still partially stand over the railroad right here. That is visible in the Google images. So that's a fairly neat item of note. And then the railroad facilities over here. Now obviously, again, like I said, it's taking artistic inclinations using what the route developer has available, so it is not perfect to the route, but it does get the idea across. So according to Google, it looks like there's a turntable pit, but not a turntable. So this is a bit of a kind of a freelance. It is nice. It is a helpful little item, but like this whole area right here, this track doesn't even exist according to Google. And then it's just a turntable pit. And I will say, overall, the whole like yard area, the tracks themselves just seem too short, and the switch curves themselves are most definitely too tight. They're very noticeably tight compared to the Google images. But again, using what one can, and it is a freeware route. I can't hate on it too much, because somebody did put in a lot of time and effort on this route, and it does look quite nice. Now obviously it's going to have steam locomotive servicing items, so water tower, coal bunker. Now I do believe their locomotives are actually oil fired. I don't believe they're coal fired, if I'm not mistaken. I could be crazy, but I do believe their steam locomotives are oil fired, so a coal bunker is a little bit out of place. But on the flip side of that, most of these small, well, I say most of, we really don't have many options for small locomotives for North America, but most of the small steam locomotives available for North America, I believe, are all coal or wood. We really don't have any oil burners. Of course, the machine rail Sierra 460 pack actually does go really nice on this route. Or, as you saw back there, the smoke box 1800 stuff 100% looks in place on this route. But they do have some diesel motive power. I believe they've got an SW series or two, some center cab switchers. The only center cab that we have is the old as balls DTM 44 tonner, which works. I don't believe that's exactly what the railroad's center cabs are, but it's an alright stand-in. And then again, the SW series, I believe they have one or two end cab switchers that look to be SWs. One might be an Alco. And then a handful of passenger cars. As I hear my cats go crashing through my house. Yeah. That's why I can't have anything nice. But such is life. But it'll continue on from Virginia City with some heckin' grueling grades and curves. I mean, straight out of the gate. Matter of fact, let's there's a somewhat level spot. Yeah, level-ish. I mean, you can see it. It goes up. So it's definitely a challenging route to run a steam locomotive. I like to use the either the Machine Rail Sierra 460s, or truth be told, I really like the Smokebox 280, the old, his first little consolidation. I really like that one on this route. It's a lot of fun. But these grades are definitely a challenge to run a steam locomotive. And I got some, as you can see, noticeably tight curves. Oogie and boogie right on down to our first little station here, which I believe is Gold Hill, if I'm not mistaken. That is what this place is referred to as. So let me just catch up on my Google Maps here. Gold Hill, yeah. And I do believe the trains come down here and stop for kind of a short train trip. Shows like on their website they got like a 35-ish minute train trip, so I would assume that's Virginia City down to Gold Hill here. So that would be a relatively quick train trip. The track work is not quite right. So according to, I know I say it a lot, according to, but just I'm going off of my resources, and according to Google Images, there is a little stub track that pops off right here, a little kind of siding. So that is missing. But other than that, the track work actually looks right about correct. And of course, an old mine over here. Now, I do wish there was some more life to the route. I love the use of the 3D trees. While they're not the greatest 3D trees in the world, they're certainly better than the blasted billboard trees like that being right here on the trackside. I despise when people do that because it's so noticeably ugly. But, yeah, the 3D trees that we do have are arguably just as old, but they do look better. So I do like the use of the 3D trees along the trackside. This being Nevada, there are very few places along this route where you're going to find trees like this. Most of the route is out in the desert like that. So this, scenery-wise, me personally, it's not anything that floats my boat. I'm not a big fan of the desert. Spent enough time in the desert. Don't like the desert. But some people find the desert to be a very pretty place. But as I was saying earlier, I do wish there was a little bit more life along the route. Some more automobiles, maybe some people could definitely help liven it up a bit. But this is our first stop along the route, Gold Hill. Let us continue along. Now, after I boogie along the route a little bit, I will go back and we'll try to operate the locomotive, a little short 3-car train up the hill, just for giggles and squiggles, just so you guys can see how much of a struggle it is to figure out. So we got a little bit of a siding here. Whether or not it's a passing siding, I'm not dead certain. Again, not perfectly true to our Google Maps, but it gets the point across. Another little bit of a passing sighting here. Catch back up on my maps. Goodness me. Now, the reason I pulled this route out of the hat right off the bat, as far as heritage railroads go, they're, God, cat, give me a dang near heart attack. My cats refuse to stay out of things that they know they'll get in trouble for when their mommy is home. And I get yelled at for it, but oh well. But anyways, as I was saying, heritage railroads in train simulators, kind of in general, get overlooked a lot, which surprises me a lot because it really gives you a fun opportunity for some smaller routes to be added that are, you know, readily playable for people that don't want to sit for hours on end on these 140-mile routes and such. And heritage railroads kind of give they give a nice open door to some fun rolling stock and locomotive packs to fit those routes. So kind of like an example though, the WK and S Heritage Railroad. The route was made by Approach Medium in trains, and they worked hand in hand with K&L Trains, who produced a rolling stock pack, the little 060 to the 060 and the passenger equipment to go along with that route, and it pairs up really nicely. Then you go through the download station, and with some artistic liberty, there's a few center cab switches and whatnot that you can use to pretty much recreate a lot of the railroad's operational equipment and have a full-blown operating session as a heritage railway, and do it all in a matter of minutes. Strasburg's another one for trains. It's probably the two most notable, but as far as railworks goes, there's practically nothing for North America. There used to be the Durango and Silverton some years ago, and you can still buy the RDBP file from the Durango and Silverton Historical Society, but I hate to say it, but I don't recommend it. The route was never finished by G-Trax, even though they said they were going to, and then they just kind of pawned it off. So there are massive chunks of that route not finished, and the equipment is MSTS conversions that just, the whole thing is a dumpster fire, for lack of a better term. But that's really all we got that's notable for Train Sim, which kind of sad, if we're to be perfectly honest. So we're oogie and boogie, and we gotta stop right here. Where right here is, I'm not dead certain. There's another cat comes screaming at my door because she doesn't like the wind, but wants to go in and out of the house whenever she so pleases. Friends and family, if cats frustrate you, don't rescue them. I have rescued 3. Hairy headache. But, anywho, I believe... I forget what place this is. But that is one of our stops. Oogie and boogie on a little more. And this is the end of track. Which, as the images show, it's pretty much true to be. The railroad just kind of ends out in the middle of nowhere with a little passing track right here. Whether or not they go all the way out to the end of track, I have no honest clue. I assume that most of this railroad is part of the original Virginia and Truckee Railroad. So I would assume this is part of the old 1800s route. So it just kind of ends out here in the middle of nowhere. The roadbed, according to Google, does actually continue on. It looks like it is a dirt road now. So it's not quite right that this just kind of ends into the side of a hill here. This should, continue along into the unknowns as far as the route goes, but it should continue along for as far as the roadbed goes further along. So that isn't quite right, but oh well. However, the end of track is there. This little passing siding is here. And I assume that station is not Virginia City. I assume that's Carson. Carson City. That is indeed Carson City. So, boogity 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 boogie on back. So this is our Carson City station. See, we got some people around here. Cars. Kind of wish there was some more of this along the route, just in random places, just to give it a little more spice to life. Obviously, you got a water tower, coaling tower facilities, and such for the steam locomotives. And as you can see, there's really not much out here, and that is pretty much true to be. It just kind of ends out here in the middle of nowhere. What it is missing, it's kind of funny that it is missing, but there's a little airport quite literally right behind here. So this spot right here is taken up by an airport. Little dirt strip looking joint, so probably a little Cessna crop dusters and such. But Parker Carson Airport should be right here. So that's missing. Oh well. The Oogion over here. The highway. Carson City. A pick and pull. That's what this is supposed to be, a pick and pull. So, junkyard. Yeah. That's really about it. So that is the route in its entirety. Not huge, again, only about 14-ish miles. But certainly enough to have some fun with heritage equipment. So you want to run steam locomotives or little center cab diesel, maybe SW1200 with 3-4 passenger cars, you can. Or maybe a photo freight with some old freight cars. Yeah, you can. Right? You'd probably have some fun doing so. I mean, like I said, I have fun with stuff like this. It's so very fitting. So we'll run a short bit up the road here just for giggles and squiggles, so you guys can see the absolutely grueling grade. So you will not be cruising along at 40 mile an hour along this route. Matter of fact, I think most of it, I think it shows, yeah, it shows 30 mile an hour. I don't think there's really any speed limit signs anywhere on the route. Personally, I wouldn't get above 20, 25. I think 30 is a bit stretch, but if you're feeling brave, you certainly try 30. So we'll go ahead and start building up our fire here. Dampers. Go ahead and start getting this thing ready to go. We want that open. Water pump. We don't need that one. Water heater. We do need that one. Sanders. Don't need any of that. Cylinder cocks. Do need those. Blow down. Should be it. Fairly simple locomotives. Pull this up. If I can find it. There it is. I don't know how the boiler's overfilling. That's interesting. 700 and... What? That doesn't make sense. Okay, well, that's a interesting bug with the smoke box stuff. Never had that issue before. Wow, that boiler was indeed overfilled. I don't know why it didn't. That was the first time I clicked on it. It's like it was sitting there filling up with water the entire time I was going over the route. Oh well, what can you do about it? As they say. So, oh well. If that's gonna bug out, I would say I'd use machine rail. I would say I'd use machine rails 460s, but they're so bad about giving me out of memory errors. As much as I absolutely love the Rogers models, they're frustrating as balls because of that. Oh well, let's try it. See what happens. See if it works. As some have said, what's the worst that can happen? Ah! Giant missing textures. Oh, but the movie... the movie themed ones work. Well, sometimes I don't understand. Some of the movie theme ones work, but just the regular locomotive doesn't. That's a new one I've never had. As you guys can tell, there are certain models that I don't touch as often as I might should. That is a prime example. These I don't touch very often because they're horrible about out-of-memory errors. I mean, beyond bad about out-of-memory errors. Well, we didn't get an out-of-memory error. It's a lucky day. Open everything up because it's hot. It's not a very heavy train, so it'd be kind of hard to show off the grade and everything, but oh well. Now let's go over here and while we're oogie and boogieing here, see if we can get our oil regulator going. There we go. Also, I don't know, I believe these are functional. So oil, water, and coal. Yeah, I believe these are functional. Virginia City is represented. We got the maintenance shops, Gold Hill, siding. Let's see what else we got. American Flats. This one's not listed. Highway 50. Into track. And Carson City. I'm kind of surprised that the spot here isn't spread out, but oh well. As you can see, there's an entertaining drop. And you'll be practically riding your brakes the whole way down. Which can be a bit of a pain too. Sitting here trying to play with it all the way down. That was a prime example. We kind of slammed into that curve a little bit. Speed limit still shows us 30, but around this curve here, you probably want to be doing 15, 20. Definitely not the 22 I'm doing right now. Now I remember, there used to be some old style passenger cars. Now I know the Great Northern ones. Great Northerner did some old wooden passenger cars, but there used to be some like old I believe they were like 1890 something Palace cars that would go pretty cool on this route. I think it was just a coach. There was a yellow and a green. It was available some years ago, I believe on trainsim.com. Also had an Atlantic that I believe was an old MSTS port done by the same guy, but that was a long time ago. I don't even know if you can still find any of that. Anywho, I've shown the whole route off. I don't think I need to operate along the entire one, so I'm going to go ahead and call it there. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. I highly recommend checking it out. This is one that I have a lot of fun in my off time when I don't do videos or anything like that. I just want to run stuff. I think it's fun. I love heritage routes. As a whole, they're my personal favorite, so I highly recommend checking it out. It is available for free on the Steam Workshop as the Virginia Truckee Railroad. Again, here is the Steam Workshop page. So, anywho, definitely go check it out. I think it's awesome if you enjoy this older style equipment or enjoy scenic railroad / heritage operations. Really can't go wrong. So anywho, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next time.